Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy MKS here, back here with another video, and welcome to part one of how to help AC Milan to become world class. Just some ideas I have. I don't know if they're any good, but just some ideas. Well, I haven't planned this that well, but last night I was actually thinking of talking about facts about AC Milan, although it's not Friday, and due to alliterations, I prefer it to be Facts Friday. But the reason why I'm covering AC Milan is because it's the 13th or a 13th. As happens, the 13th of December, and AC Milan are nicknamed the Black and Red Devils or something like that, or the Devils or whatever. I suppose you could call them the Black and Red Devils. They have quite a few different nicknames. And again, I was going to do facts about AC Milan, but I decided to do this instead about some ideas. I was going to read about facts and then try to remember them, or maybe I should write them down and then do so. But I was thinking maybe on a Friday, like Facts Friday. Or a Monday, like Milan Mondays or whatever. But anyway, as it's a Wednesday, I thought how to talking about how to help. I thought I'd talk about rather how to help AC Milan to become world class. And as ever, I'd love to read other people's ideas and suggestions about how to do so. Maybe listen to it in the future as well. And I'd love to collaborate with Milan fans for sure, as often known as. But yeah. Hopefully in the future I'll do a video on facts about Milan, like 40 facts about Milan if I can find them and research them, and then probably write them down so I don't keep forgetting them when and read them from a list when I make the video. But I'd say 13th I think of as an unlucky number generally because it's like, I think it's, although I'm not that religious, I often say it's like a biblical thing, which is like 12, which I think it's 12 witches and the 13th one being the devil. So symbolically, as AC Milan, as I say, it's called the Devils. And 13 reminds me of like the devil or things like unluckiness or things like selfishness in this case, as a fan of Italian football in a selfish way. So anyway, I'm going to try and stop waffling for the intro as ever. And here are some of my ideas to try and help AC Milan to become world class as ever. As I say, I would love to hear from other people, listen to other people, and read other people's own ideas and thoughts and whatnot. Not that I can read people's thoughts, but so here goes. So number one, I think it would be cool if AC Milan got a lot of investment, as I talked about recently, like a week or so ago. I talked about a week on Monday. A week before the Monday had just gone, so I can't remember exactly what day it was, like the 4th or the 6th or something like that. I talked about how I love for AC Milan to get loads of investment. I suppose that would help AC Milan to become world class because they could buy great players, which would be great for the short term. I think it'd be interesting to see players like Mbappe and people like that. And I wonder what Milan fans think about. And again, I know I mentioned this in the past, but I wonder what Milan fans think about the management and the ownership as well. I specifically mentioned about the ownership and whether people think that. I think some Milan fans were saying, well, I read some Milan fans were saying, I don't know how many are of this opinion, but they were saying that Coach Pioli, or however you pronounce his name, surname or whatever, is doing it or has done a fairly decent job for their level. But if they want to go to the next level, they need a lot better. They need a lot better manager who could speak better English, probably, or Italian or whatever. But on a serious note, they need a manager who can help them to go into things like the Champions League, especially if they're going to be world class. But some people so far are not very happy with the management of Jerry Cardinal. But I think since he's just got in the door, maybe they need to give him time. One of the bad decisions he perhaps made was getting rid of Maldini, who's like a club legend, and he knew a lot about the football side. So maybe they need to do things like appoint a director of football and things like. I think Maldini was probably the director of football, but I think they should involve former legends of the club to come back in. As I say, point number two, I think they should learn about what great clubs have done to become world class. Like I would love for. And again, I know I mentioned this about just over a week ago, but I would love for Ancelotti to perhaps come back in and talk about all his experiences with Real Madrid and what they do well and how they can, how AC Milan can replicate some of that success. And maybe even he can maybe even look at what Real, as good as they are, what they do badly, and how to avoid some of the pitfalls that they have, some of the bad things they do, or mistakes they make or whatever, basically. And I suppose it is a bit different when you've got so much money behind you as Real Madrid, apparently bankrolled by the government and so-called royal family as well, I think. But again, hopefully with that investment that I hope AC Milan will get from companies like Apple, Amazon, Alibaba, and other companies that begin with A, in return for things like being able to name stands and improve their PR, like so nicknames like Apple Calcio Milan, Amazon Calcio Milan, Alibaba Calcio Milan, and so on and so forth. So obviously what's in it for them, like giving them good incentives to invest, and lots of sponsorship deals would be cool as well. And like McDonald's, Marks and Spencer perhaps, and other companies that begin with M, investing in football in Milan, like M&M's companies, M&M Direct and other companies like that, investing in football in Milan generally to get more people into football, which would benefit both Milan clubs, although they're rivals. Number three, again, that investment and sponsorship and spaces and places for sport, in this case football, getting as many people from Milan basically to play as much football as possible, practice their football and improve, and hopefully that would develop good young Italian players, as well as, like, again, having that investment which could be used for procuring, whether the best word is to use, basically buying, to put simple, players, the best possible players. So I hope they'll develop great players in Italy and buy the best possible players overseas. It'd be interesting if they had players like Haaland or people like that, and hopefully it'd be great if they could poach players from England or elsewhere and get some of the best possible players and that kind of thing, and maybe like give an open exchange of ideas, like enable the fans to talk about what ideas they want to see, what players they want to see at the club, what coaches should be involved, what managers should be involved, and scouts, who are some good scouts around, and how a director of football could help them to develop and things like that. Number four, I hope they will practice more and at youth level, I'd say, and have more opportunities, especially like young people in Milan, and see what they should do more of and what they should do less of, and things like that. Number five, once again, in the future, I hope to do like facts about Milan. So I hope more AC Milan. So hopefully more people will find out about facts about AC Milan, and hopefully also fans of Milan will share facts about the club in these videos in the comment section, and maybe be inspired to make your own videos, as I often say, more coherently than me. Talking about, I know there are some Milan fan channels out there, but I think other people perhaps could give it a go and actually what ideas you could come up with, and what you could talk about, what Milan means to you, and that kind of thing. Milan, as they're often called for short, but I think most people in Italy just call Milan instead of AC Milan. Yeah. As far as I'm aware, number six, I'd say developing young Italian players and working with the national team. Hopefully that will benefit club and country, in this case AC Milan, and football in general in Italy. I'd love to see as much investment into Italian football as possible, so I'd say, and sponsorship and all that kind of thing, so it can bring back the great players and bring back the glory days. AC Milan has a great history, so hopefully they can capitalise on that. And there was something I was going to say, but I've completely forgotten it. But yeah, hopefully they can work with the national team and help to develop young players and bring in the best possible managers, coaches, coaching staff, players, obviously, a director of football, improving things like the diet of players and things like that. Number seven, as I often say, I hope they'll have a partnership with Celtic, as I wish for all Italian teams to do, and also have as many partners and investors, as I say, and sponsors as possible, and see what they could do to develop and improve themselves, see what mistakes they could learn from, and basically what they could improve. So things that they get wrong, how they could improve, or even things they get right, how they could get them even better, so that they can just continue to improve and hopefully become as close to world class as possible, and again connect with the fan base around the world and have sports clubs and academies all around the world and things like that, and basically do whatever they can to improve themselves all the time, so they become as world class as possible. Number eight, developing the passion of the fans. I think the point I was going to make, and I forgot, was ultras, instead of being involved in hooliganism, And again, I know I mentioned this point before, but they could be involved in coaching the younger players. They could be involved in fundraising for the team. It would be great to see what fans can do, and whether fans will be allowed to invest in or even donate to the club within the rules of the game, and that kind of thing. Talking about rules of the game in Italian football generally, I was thinking, what if Italian clubs and the national team, or those involved in Italian football, supported the bids of any nation that invests in Italian football? So, for instance, if India invests in Italian teams like AC Milan or Inter Milan or whoever, I'd prefer them to invest in Inter Milan just due to alliteration, to be honest, but I'm a bit mad on my alliterations and things like that, just mad generally. But if they do, then, or let's say, for instance, if America had its own sovereign wealth fund and invested in a club like AC Milan or any other Italian club, or American companies, then maybe as a reward, if America went to host the World Cup again, which they did in '94, then Italian teams could help them, and the FIGC, the Italian FA, could help them in return for that investment in Italian football. If India, China, Canada, or any other nation wanted to host the World Cup, let's say America and Canada together, Saudi Arabia or any other Arab nation or Asian or African nation or whatever, even Latin American nation or any nation around the world, the ones that invest the most into Italian football, I think Italian football should help them to get the bid for, should help them like in votes for the World Cup and things like that, or basically support their bid as a return, to return the favour. But I mean, that's if they can do so by law. I don't know what rules are by FIFA, if you're allowed to, or if that would be classed as a bribe for investing in Italian football. It could be like said as a thank you for investing in Italian football. Number 9, I hope that the club will have like visions for the future and 5-10 year plans. And I'd also love to make groups like artists for AC Milan, poets for Milan, writers for Milan, and that kind of thing. Architects for Milan, for instance, and business people for Milan. And on that note, like how businesses and the fashion industry, which is often largely based in Milan, could invest in the club. And number 10, once again, youth development, I think is really important for the longevity, however you pronounce it, of the future of the club. And also, as once again, the ultras or the older people, instead of being involved in hooliganism, could like lead by example, improve their diets, get into coaching, and try to fundraise for the club and see any legal ways that can help the club to increase its finances, basically, which hopefully will again help to buy better players and also build youth academy stadiums to develop the youth, things like that, and say they can improve their diets as well. So yeah, as I say, I changed the plan because I was going to talk about facts about Milan, which I hope to talk about either on a Monday or a Friday, the next Monday or Friday the 13th. I hope I won't be jinxed there. But anyway, peace and love. I'm out.